Just a quick question. When you grew up, were you raised to believe, or did you just think and believe that all Republicans were racist and bigoted and just like, you know, crazy? Because I did. I mean, I just always thought that they were like rich, snobby, white people who were Bible thumpers and, gun, whatever. Oh, my guns, this, that, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of what I was always thought, and like they just were not accepting of other people and races and whatnot. And I don't know, I've kind of come around. I don't feel that way anymore. I've actually been listening to a lot of their messages and the people who are talking, and turns out that they're not all white, they're not all old men, they're not even all men. There's everything. It's a very diverse place, and they're not as narrow-minded in thinking as I thought that they were. And how foolish of me to think this without even knowing it, right? Like, isn't that the very thing that I'm always saying, oh, no, no, you're not supposed to, we're not supposed to judge other people that we don't know and whatever, and yet I just have this innate idea that that's what it is. Anyway, yeah, people aren't always what we think they are, and even like people that I thought were, people talk about, oh, the white supremacists and the white crazy people. I've seen so many people being called that who aren't like a Nazi or white supremacist or even any of that stuff, and it's lost its meaning. Like, I don't think that way. I don't even think it means what it obviously doesn't mean what it used to be. And I think that the people who are saying that are actually the people who are, not, I don't want to say Nazis because that's very specific to a time and era and, genocide. But, I think it's just the thinking is what they're trying to get behind that. And the people that I would think that felt that way, that it's, I guess that even like the most extreme versions of everything that I've been hearing, which I haven't really heard anything that extreme, are from people who they have, I guess that maybe like people who are racist have reasons for that, like if you grow up a certain way and you have a certain experiences, then you're going to feel a certain way, especially if people treat you a certain way. And if we don't want white people to not dislike black people or people of color in general, like even Mexicans or whatever, then maybe we should be nicer to them. Maybe we shouldn't call them names and say, oh, you're just this because you're racist, or and all white people are this and all white people are that, and white people, white people, white people. But in fact, a lot of white people that are alive today weren't slave owners. They weren't doing all those things. And it seems kind of to me that the Democratic Party, by wanting people to come over to, like sanctuary cities and places that are protecting illegal immigrants, they're the new slave owners, because they want people to come here illegally so that they can get paid less and to do work and can be mistreated, and they have to pay rent too, and they're not getting as paid as much. They have to work longer, cheaper, and they can get abused, because if anyone's going to say anything to them, if they're not doing something right, then they know that they can get immigration called on them, so it's basically like being a slave. It's like, yeah, you're going to come here, but then since you're not supposed to be here, we basically own you and you have to do what we say. It's just a thought. And like, I'm curious about what people want to know about open borders. And, I wrote a paper once, this land is your land, it's my land, and we should all be able to live here, and everyone should be accepting of everyone else and whatnot. But now I'm like, oh, I kind of see how that is an issue, especially whenever there is so much homelessness and poverty and people are looking for work. And, it seems like our nation can't even sustain our own population, much less having a bunch of other people come here to try to compete that we can't afford to take care of either. And here's the problem. People that actually pay their taxes, it seems like it's the if you're not poor and you're not super rich, then you're the ones that are paying the taxes. And essentially, like, your tax money is going to pay for people who don't have, you know, you're paying for the insurance. Our insurance rates are higher because people can tend to get into more accidents here, and some people do drive illegally, and we have to pay for that. And even like medical and whatever, our taxes go to those to aid in those benefits. And the people, so basically a lot of these people aren't working legally, so they're not filing taxes and they're not paying for stuff. So we're paying for them too, and these owners to do this, to basically rip us off. And they're ripping off, like I said, a lot of people who don't have, the people who are barely struggling to get by themselves. And as I said, a lot of people don't have jobs. And I live in a very liberal city where homelessness is, it's rampant. I don't even know, and a lot of times it's by choice, because we have signs that say, if you need help, please call 311. We have a ton of resources for people. We have tons of churches who give food out, and we have homeless shelters. We have tons of things for people that really need help, and my state wants to help people that need it. And yet, on every corner in my neighborhood, not in my neighborhood specifically, but like on almost every frontage road, and even like just busy intersections, there's one person at each light. And then usually there's a couple people off to the side who are doing drugs and like drug deals, whatever, and they're all strung out and whatever. And it's just like, this is, it's out of control. I'm sick of the way things are, and I think things should be differently. And I think that Republicans feel that maybe we should take care of our own people first before we start letting more people in. And not that those people shouldn't get help too, but I feel kind of like we got to fix our own problems first. Like, maybe, if people don't think that it's going to be better here, and they actually have a reality of what's really going to happen when they cross the border, and they know that it's not going to be a certain thing, and it's going to be, I think they're not going to take such big chances and such risk if the consequences are severe. So basically, like, if someone is wanting to come here with their kids, a family, let's say there's a family, and they, maybe we need PSAs or whatever, PSA, it's our local radio station, people letting them know that, like, if you come here, beware, because this is what could happen, and not only if we catch you, you might get separated from your kids, but also, you can get locked up and stay wherever for however long. Like, if the risk is greater than the reward, then maybe it won't happen. Like, sometimes we have to have severe consequences for things to not happen, because people, if they're not scared and there isn't any kind of a big repercussion for them behaving badly, then what's to stop them? I mean, people are going to do things, especially if they're not scared of getting caught. And I think, as I said earlier, if someone's coming here and they're not aware of how bad it is, and like the fact that they're not gonna really be able to fly under the radar because of whatever, then maybe they won't come. And maybe if they do understand that, like, women are getting raped by the owners of the businesses and whatever, and not saying that happens a lot, but like, I think abuse and other things. And I don't even know. I'm just saying, like, some of my thoughts, and I'm just offshooting. And if you have thoughts and opinions and ideas that might even, I'm all for being educated. I'm all for being wrong. I'm good. I'm just sharing some opinions and thoughts. And I get why Republicans are the way that they are in some of their stances. And I don't think that they're wrong, because I think living in a liberal city and seeing how crime and all these other things are out of control, because we favor criminals. My state favors criminals and junkies over the citizens. Like, my kids have to be exposed to seeing these junkies every day on the way to school, because panhandling's legal here. We allow them to have a way to speak and to do whatever, and because of that, it makes our city look bad, and people don't want to be here. People don't want to stay here, and people are wanting to leave here because it's depressing, and it's not. Our city's gone downhill. I mean, I'm not from Albuquerque, but I live here. I'm actually from Dallas, and in the time I've been here, like I live in a neighborhood that's decent, and it's not rich, but like it's decent. And now the homeless people are coming over here, and they're putting their signs up, and now there's more crime. Houses are being broken into, cars are being stolen, needles are being left around, trash. And the thing is that people are like, oh, well, we're gonna clean this up for them, and we're gonna make this park more hospitable, but they should be doing that. We should be holding them accountable to pick up after themselves. It's like, yeah, let us take care of you so that you can continue to do this to us. I mean, that's nice, but if they don't care, and why should we care for someone that doesn't care for themselves? Why am I going to care for you if you don't care about your own stuff? And I get addiction's a thing, and people need help, but let's actually help them. I don't want to feed their problem and continue the bad behavior. Like giving them $1 or $2, whatever. It's creating more problems. And I think even if we ban putting up signs and stuff, then they're going to probably steal and more robbery because they have to get money for their drugs, right? So the drug problem needs to be treated. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I just don't like the way things are, and I don't think that giving everyone the same. I feel like favoring criminals and like the laws here, where if you get in trouble for something, you're basically back on the streets. And we have a thing called repeat offenders. It's pretty ugly, but so people are being murdered, kids are being abused because their parents are on meth, and I feel like we're not really doing enough to combat that, and things are not improving. It just seems like it's rapidly declining because the law enforcement, the politicians, and everyone are scared of getting in trouble. And that's sad that our police department isn't supported, and they're discouraged from doing their job, and they have to get permission to do all these things. Who wants to be a police officer these days? Everyone hates you. It's like they're the new person to be discriminated against, And people are like, oh, but they do this to that to people. That's really low on how often that actually happens. And, people would say like, well, white cops are abusive to, black people. Yes, that has happened, and that's not cool. Like, not absolutely horrific. There have been horrific cases. I'm not discrediting that. But, like, black on black crime is a thing too, right? People shoot each other. Can we fix that? What do we need to do? Something needs to be done. I'm open for suggestions. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share your opinion, share your thoughts. I think we're not going to figure things out if we can't work together and talk. I'm not here to make enemies. I'm just here to think out loud and try to figure some stuff out. I don't have it figured out. I'd like to have it figured out. I want to understand because I don't right now, and I don't think that we're as divided as we think, and I think people do want to help out more, and people want things to be better, but it's not going to happen until we can actually talk about things from a non-confrontational perspective and way. I'm here for understanding, not for more strife. So please let me know what you think. I'm curious. All right, have a great day. Bye.